Yeah. In the days of Nebuchadnezzar, he used the threat of the fiery furnace. And there are all kinds of threats today. Beloved, we got to be careful about what we listen to. We got to be careful about what we allow in our ears, because unlike our eyes that we can shut, you cannot shut down your ears. I was reading in a scientific journal from University of Texas, and the scientist said that we don't just hear with our ears, we hear with our whole bodies. Our whole body's here. And so you got to be careful about what you listen to. But I want you to know that our God understands quite clearly the sounds that you and I need to hear. Our God understands what it is we need to hear. And all throughout history, you will find there are people that use sound not to destroy, not to tear down, not to break down, but to lift up. There are people that have used sound and have used music to encourage and to inspire. They have used music and they have used sound in a way that has caused people to gain strength and to gain courage and to do what they might not necessarily do otherwise. It has caused them to come into groups and to do things that are amazing. This is a picture of the children during the Birmingham campaign. More than 1,000 children participated in the Birmingham campaign against segregation in the streets of Birmingham. And they gathered at the 16th Street Baptist Church, and they sang songs. Amen. They sang songs because they knew the sound of the songs would give them courage. The sound of the songs would remind them that God was with them. The sound of the music would help them know that they were on the right side of history. Amen. And they would sing the songs on the inside, and then they would get up from the pews and they would begin to march out onto the streets. And that's the image that you see here. They are singing and protesting. They are singing and marching. They are singing and walking, knowing most assuredly that they will be arrested. They did not have a license to gather, and so when they went out onto the streets, they knew they were going to be arrested, but they just kept coming. These were not old people. These were not middle-aged people. These were children. These were 8th graders and 12th graders and 10th graders, and they were coming out and they were marching and they were singing, and the songs gave them courage. And when you see them, they're not crying. When you see them, they're not mourning. When you see them, they're not complaining. When you see them, they're not downtrodden. When you see them, they are singing. And when you see them, they are smiling. When you see them, they are filled with power because they know that God is with them and they are on the right side. You don't have to go only that far back in history to 1963. How about 2020? You can't quite see it, but it's kind of a cool effect. All those lights that you see, those are people. Those are people gathered. They are gathered during the protests against the death of George Floyd. They gathered and they protested, not just in the United States, but all around the world. They gathered and they protested and they sang songs. And this group is singing in Washington, D.C. This group is singing "Lean on Me." A man just got up and took the microphone and he said, come on, let's just sing a song together. He knew that if people would come together and sing a song, that they would find some encouragement. When somebody had leaned on this man's neck and taken his very life, he said, oh no, we're going to sing "Lean on Me." Look at what he says about this song. He said, this is what he said. He was a song leader, just a guy that could sing, and said, let's sing this song. He said it sounded like unity and togetherness, he says. It sounded like love and pureness of the people. It was one race. Come on, somebody. It was one moment. I love that. He said there was one race. It wasn't just black people and white people and Latino people. It was humanity gathered together with one voice and one sound and one song. Lean on me when you get tired, right? I'll be your friend, right? I'll be there with you to the end. I'll be there with you. Lean on me. Yeah. God knows that songs can be destructive and sounds can be coercive, but he also knows that God knows that sound can encourage, sound can lift up, sound can build up, and that's the sound of music that you and I need to listen to these days. We need to remember that we need to be built up, come on somebody, and not torn down. We need to be built up and not torn down. Instead of music being violence, amen, somebody, music should be our medicine. Music should be our medicine. Music should be our medicine.